Today we're going to look at Blu-rays and DVDs I picked up in July and August of 2022.
It's morphin' time!
Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome back to another disc discussion, this time another Blu-ray haul. This one's a little different than the last couple, so I've been doing them quarterly, so every 3 months, but you may notice that we just started September, it's not the end of September. Well, there's a couple reasons for that. One, I can't tell you yet because it's future video plans and that's top secret. Two, there is a lot of September releases I want to cover in videos themselves, so there's only going to be, I think, 2 Blu-rays I'm buying in September that I'm not covering in September, like in individual videos, so those are going to get pushed to the next one, because I didn't think we should hold up this haul for 2 Blu-rays. I was like, let me just do the rest of this, and then we'll get the other 2 with the October, November, December episode of the Blu-ray haul, because in September we've got a lot of things I want to talk about, like the Star Trek Motion Picture Director's Edition. There is, of course, 5-Man and Kamen Rider Kuga, so there's plenty to talk about this month. So yeah, there's stuff coming, and a lot of that's getting its own videos, so whatever doesn't get its own videos will just get pushed to the next haul, if that makes sense, because there's plenty to talk about in this one, and I thought, let's do it now and kind of get it out of the way. So here's some of the new releases. We're going to talk about all those, plus more, starting now. I'm going to be breaking it down into categories like I did the last couple, because I think that works better than just, here's a timeline of what order I bought Blu-rays in, but more like what categories they fit into. So we're going to start in our usual spot of Tokusatsu and anime. So not to say that the last couple months have been light on the anime and Tokusatsu front, but they have been. It's just personal preferences mostly. Just the things that I've gotten in is only very minimal, which is fine, because I'm kind of clearing some of my backlog. But in terms of what we got Lupin the Third, Prison of the Past. This was the 2019 TV special number 27. This one has an original dub. Discotek has been doing these Lupin specials, and yeah, no, for better or for worse, they're doing all of them. And these are always like really nicely presented. You know, I think by this point, if you've been watching the channel enough, you know that Discotek is such a great company when it comes to their releases, because they're super passionate, and they always give like these full-page posters for the Lupin specials. But yeah, this one's another one for the Lupin shelf. The Lupin shelf is about to outgrow a single shelf on my shelf. But basically, yeah, there's a ton of Lupin, and this is just adding to that, which is fantastic. Next up, we got Cyber City 080808. This was an OVA. They recently released this on Blu-ray, and then they re-released it because they were able to find the original film negative, so the original 35mm. And so they released it on a Steelbook, so you know that it's the special remastered one. And what's cool is we do have a Steelbook slipcover, so you can see all the legal text stays on the slip, and then you get to see the Steelbook inside. You know, very ominous here. I ended up getting this, and I was like, going to add it to the backlog, but I ended up watching it, because I was like, hey, it's an OVA, I can do this in one sitting. I did, and it was great. It's, you know, kind of that bubble economy 80s anime OVA cyberpunk sort of style, you know, really highly animated, pretty violent. There's a manga UK dub that's pretty language filled, and those are always kind of amusing. But yeah, so Cyber City 080808, pretty good. If you're looking for it, I recommend don't go get the original Blu-ray, get the Steelbook so you can get that new master, because it looks beautiful. And if I'm not mistaken, the actual original director approved their remaster, which is fantastic. And then Tokusatsu-wise, since Ultraman stuff got delayed, apparently we're getting, like, you know, just to have an Ultraman update, because I've been posting these on Twitter, where you can follow me at Soundout12. I've been posting the links on Twitter. We're scheduled to get, I believe, Zearth, Neos, Cosmos, Max, Nexus, and Ultraman Kids before the end of the year, starting in September. Or October. I think it's between September and December. We're supposed to be getting pretty much everything else that was on Mill Creek's original Ultraman deal, which is insane. And it's just going to keep me busy with videos. So stay tuned. Hit subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss out. Anyways, so the only release we got to talk about right now is Zebraman 2: Attack on Zebra City. This is the Takeshi Miike sequel to Zebraman. This one is released by Media Blasters. Funimation had released this prior, and their release kind of sucked. But honestly, I do really like Media Blasters' work when they do sort of these lesser known like Tokusatsu or J-horror films. They do a really good job, and they're really nicely priced. Like, this costs about $15, and it's loaded. It's got, it's got making of stuff. It's got interviews with people that worked on it. It's loaded. It's not like it's a stripped down release. It's got actual bonus features. And these guys are putting out Kamen Rider movies at some point, because I know they get the rights to the Shin Zeto J First and Next movies. But yeah, no, their releases of Zebraman, Zebraman 2, fantastic stuff. Really great releases. They look nice on a shelf together, even if they're in different case styles, because like this is the more squared off style box, and this is more rounded. But case shortages are an actual problem. If you're wondering why stuff keeps getting delayed, case shortages seem to be the biggest issue with the industry at the moment. Just getting cases in order to do it. But yeah, I mean, there's Zebraman and Zebraman 2. It's nice to have them both under one label. Both are pretty great films. They're very strange. So if you like strange tokusatsu media, Zebraman might be up your alley. But that's pretty much it for the anime and toku worlds this time. Next in a segment, we're going to call Star Trek, because it's got Star Trek. So yeah, Star Trek-wise, Lower Decks Season 2 hit Blu-ray about a month before Season 3 premiered on Paramount Plus, which is always nice. The sad part is this was only released in a plastic case with a cardboard slipcover. And you're probably like, oh, that sounds pretty normal. Yeah, it is. It's on 2 discs. You get both, all the episodes of the season. You get audio commentaries, behind-the-scenes featurettes, all kinds of cool stuff. I watched through this in a couple days. It was really great. I like having the bonus features, and I like that we're getting streaming shows with exclusive bonus features to Blu-ray. But anyways, well, as I was saying, it only released in a plastic case with a slipcover, which is pretty normal, except Season 1 did get a Steelbook as well. And it wasn't an exclusive. It was general release. You could buy it with Steelbook or with slipcover. And yeah, so we're no Steelbook on Lower Decks after 1 season, which sucks. But what can you do? You pretty much just go, all right, well, at least I can still buy the Blu-ray. Luckily, Picard is continuing the Steelbook, so hopefully that'll continue for both Season 2 and 3, because Season 2 has 1, Season 1 had 1. But it does seem like they retired the Steelbooks for Lower Decks, which is a bit of a bummer, but they don't look too terrible on the shelf. And who knows, maybe we'll get a complete set someday. I just appreciate the Paramount still giving us Star Trek Blu-rays, even in the age of streaming. So, gonna keep buying them, even if we don't get, Steelbooks. And the other thing is, I recently finished watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine, so of course went and found the What We Left Behind, looking back at Star Trek Deep Space Nine documentary. Fantastic documentary. This was just a great look back at the series, and this Blu-ray release is pretty great. It includes about 2 extra hours of stuff, just things that didn't fit in the original presentation of the documentary film. And yeah, if you're a Deep Space Nine fan, it's a really great look back at the show and a lot of great behind-the-scenes stuff and interviews with people. I know a documentary in this style is being done for Voyager, which is fantastic, because I think DS9 and Voyager have not had sort of a run of documentaries like TOS and TNG have had. So, it's pretty cool, and I hopefully Enterprise gets one as well. Because I think it's nice to kind of reunite the cast, get the creatives back together, and talk about the show they did. And this is an absolutely fantastic documentary. You can even find it, I think, free with ads on YouTube. And yeah, and there's this Blu-ray that Shout Factory put out, which is pretty great. That's all for Star Trek this time. Definitely more Star Trek in the future, though. All right, going into DC, we've got Batwoman, 3rd and final season. It is a shame the show didn't get to continue, because I heard it was getting real good, and they didn't get to do a final season. They got cut short due to corporate merger stuff. I could do probably a whole video about the Warner Brothers Discovery stuff when we know more details, but yeah, it's been a bloodbath over there. So anyways, this completes our Batwoman set. So as we can see, Season 1, Season 2, Season 3. So it's pretty nice to at least have the entire show on Blu-ray, and it looks pretty consistent spine-wise, probably one of the better ones. Season 1's case is a little thicker because it has the Crisis on Infinite Earths disc, but yeah, in general, not too bad packaging-wise, looks pretty good. And then, of course, going alongside that, the other show that got axed without getting a chance to do a final season, which is a shame, because Supergirl and Black Lightning and Arrow, I believe, all got kind of a heads up, hey, this is your last season. Legends and Batwoman got cut after their seasons were done airing instead of during, so they could, wrap it up. But it happens. TV's rough. But anyways, 7th season for Legends of Tomorrow, which goes with seasons 1 through 6, which I already have. I've only seen 4 seasons of this show, if I'm being totally honest. And yeah, each season's spine is different, and that's fine, because I think each season's theme is different. And just like with Batwoman, one of them's a little thicker because of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Also, people have always said, like, oh, where did Legends stop being like a time-traveling superhero show and just start becoming a wacky time travel show? And I think the answer is right there. There was the turning point. It's when they stopped putting the superhero suits on the posters, which is fine because that's just what the show became. And it's like you either like it or you don't. But yeah, they stopped doing the superhero suits between seasons 4 and 5. Like after Crisis, it was like, yeah, we don't need superhero stuff anymore. We're just going to do time travel, which is fine. I just haven't watched since, so, you know. Speaking of things I haven't watched, Aquaman King of Atlantis, speaking of Warner Brothers Discovery Bloodbath, this was an HBO Max original that hadn't even been a year old at this point, and was already removed from HBO Max because of whatever dumb, stupid stuff is going on at that company where creators' work is just being erased like it never existed, and I hate it. I hate all of it. I hate that whole, we're just going to cut 36 shows suddenly without, you know, giving any time for people to watch them. Awful. Terrible. It's the worst side of streaming, and yeah, pretty much just makes me disgusted at Warner Brothers Discovery in general. I've never watched this show, and I don't even know if I care about it, but the second I heard it was leaving HBO Max and I knew that there was a DVD, I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy that DVD. It's also a shame it is produced in HD, but it is a DVD. It's just how it goes. But yeah, this was I think it was a 3-episode, 40 minutes per episode thing. This is a compilation into a single, like, animated film. I'll probably watch it someday. I don't have any strong feelings either way. But I was pretty pissed that they just up and removed something that was made for HBO Max like less than a year after it was on the platform. But at least there was a DVD as a backup. That was luckier than some other shows got. Speaking of things that I talked about on Twitter, Green Lantern Beware My Power. Now this, we've been talking about this on the channel. If you saw my video on the confusing DC movie spine art, that was a whole thing. That kind of told you everything you need to know about how I was really worried about Green Lantern Beware My Power because of the spine art not connecting because the 4K and Blu-ray having different spine arts. Go watch that for all the details because we're just going to keep rolling like you kind of remember that, yeah, it's a giant mess. The movie itself, though, I actually quite enjoyed. I thought it was a good adaptation of several comics, kind of give it a new spin, and did catch me off guard. Even though I knew the storylines they adapted, the way they did it was kind of surprising and cool. So I did really like it, just like I've liked a lot of this current universe stuff. Now you're noticing I'm like showing off the 4K. So I bought it twice. God. This was the thing if I went out to the stores. I didn't pre-order this online. I was like, let me go look and see what the spine art situation is like. Because the original solicitation for this film showed the spine arts being different, and lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. Okay. First of all, movie itself, bonus features were a bit lacking. It was like a 20-minute feature on Jon Stewart, and most of it was Jeff Johns talking, which just made me feel weird. Not only because Jeff Johns is kind of a, you know, I know he's become like, oh, he's the Green Lantern guy, but like, he's not a great person, and he's made a lot of terrible decisions, and had a lot of people share stories about horrible interactions with them, and I was like, yeah, this is kind of uncomfortable. Can we get, like, people that, you know, actually care about the values of the characters as opposed to just how they wrote them to talk about this? And they had some other good, you know, things. They had Phil Lamar talking. They had Aldous Hodge, who voices Jon Stewart in this movie. But I thought it could have been handled a lot better with more of the impact of Jon Stewart and not like, oh, look, this is how I wrote it in this comic book that I did years ago. That's the source of all DC inspiration. Where was I going with this? Anyways, the bonus features are lacking. No preview for the next movie. We do know the next movie is technically Long Halloween Deluxe Edition, which doesn't have a spine art part. We'll talk about it later in a different video. And then Battle of the Super Sons, which isn't part of the universe, so it wouldn't have a spine art part. There were 4 movies announced at San Diego Comic-Con, and hopefully those actually come out, because after Warner Brothers dumped Batgirl into the trash, who knows if anything is going forward anywhere, even if it's completed. And that, I think, is the perfect segue into the stupid spine art of these movies. Okay, so here's, as we established, you know, this is how I have my spine art. So yeah, if you put your Green Lantern, boom, it doesn't work because it's repeating the Long Halloween Part 1 portion. It weirdly sort of like starts, you know, you have DCC, you know, DC Collectibles, another thing that's dead. But yeah, if you get the Blu-ray, which I haven't even opened the Blu-ray. I didn't open the Blu-ray on any of these. Because I'm just doing it for shelf fillers. So we can see here, when you add the Green Lantern Blu-ray, we start building out the DCU. We're still missing a portion of the U. Who knows when that'll happen? I don't know. I don't want to sound depressed during the DC section. That's kind of how I've been feeling because, you know, I love DC, as we've established, because I keep, you know, look at this. I bought 2 of the same movie just for a picture. I love DC. You know, I love a lot of the Warner Bros. Catalog. Just everything happening with Warner Bros. Discovery and the way they're just like throwing away people's work and just, God, it's just, you know, I can't imagine working on an entire movie and it being completely scrapped without anyone getting to see it. That's just, it hits close to home. I don't know, I'm on such a soapbox here. I wanted to just talk about how stupid the spine art is, but it's so poorly planned out and poorly managed, it's basically a reflection of Warner Brothers as a company. Actually, that's all I gotta say. That's about it. More on this later. Developing story as movies come out or don't come out, who knows. Let's talk about things I like. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Probably, my favorite movie of the year? I think, yeah. I think it still is. I have liked a lot of movies I've watched this year. I'm very picky about, like, you know, going out to theaters and stuff, but I think Sonic's my favorite. I don't know if that'll change. We'll see. But anyways, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, very, very cool. This is the Steelbook for the 4K release. This came out on my birthday, so thank you, Paramount. But in general, we've got a nice Sonic the Hedgehog 2 video game cover homage with Eggman looking over the 2, Sonic and Tails there. But the thing you might be noticing is that there is a plastic slipcover over the Steelbook, which you see on things like Discotek, who's quote-unquote boutique Blu-ray. You don't really see these from the major studios, so I really appreciate this. On the back, we got a nice picture of Sonic and Knuckles going toe-to-toe. Popping it open, discs are pretty generic, but underneath the discs is actually some pretty cool stuff. So you got like Sonic and Tails there, and I pull all this out, and you got Eggman and Knuckles there. So pretty cool. I like it. It's a very nice looking Steelbook. I think Steelbook art this year, for some reason, has been lacking. Like a Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness Steelbook was just really lame. But this one looks nice. It's got that nice video game homage going on. And I love the plastic slip, and then it makes a nice companion to the Sonic the Hedgehog 1 Steelbook, even if this didn't have a plastic slip. So that's pretty cool. And then also Sonic Boom had a Steelbook with a slipcover. So yeah, I mean, Sonic Steelbooks seem to be a thing. I don't mind it at all. All right, let's talk some single-released movies. First of all, a Robert Zemeckis film, Death Becomes Her, a film about 2 women who end up drinking a magical potion that means they cannot die and they will be immortal as long as they take good care of their bodies. Yeah, this movie is hilarious. This is it's a horror comedy. It's got Meryl Streep. It's got Bruce Willis with a mustache. Bruce Willis not playing like a suave action hero, like he is a doofus in this. And Goldie Hawn, fantastic. I just rewatched this a couple days ago. It's a great film. It's a great film. We've never seen it. I was watching the Industrial Light and Magic documentary on Disney Plus. They had a shot of it, and it kind of like reminded me, oh yeah, I never bought that on Blu-ray. You can see the original poster art as an alternate cover. But yeah, no. So Shout Factory released this. I was on their site ordering the Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure 4K. Needed something to get to free shipping. Saw this pop up, and I was like, that's perfect. Great release. Visuals are great. Bonus features are awesome. Really excellent film and an excellent release. This is one of my favorites. It's one of those weird, wacky horror comedies, and I really do like it. So I've never seen it. I definitely recommend it. It's a wild trip. Speaking of weird, wacky horror comedies that's also musicals, Little Shop of Horrors. This is the director's cut release. This is one of those things where my dad was like, hey, do we have Little Shop of Horrors on Blu-ray? And I was like, no, we don't. And then we ended up buying it because it was like less than $10. Lots of great bonus features. Always love bonus features. It's something that sadly goes away more and more. But yeah, it's the director's cut and the theatrical cut on one disc, which is pretty nice. Another like weird, wacky, crazy movie, but I think this one's more known than Death Becomes Her. But I think I like Death Becomes Her a little bit more, just a little bit crazier. And then again, this has a singing people eating plants, so I don't know what exactly I'm saying, but Little Shop of Horrors is great. And it's just another one of those movies that was like, hey, that's something I didn't have on Blu-ray, so let's add it to the list. I was watching a Lost Media video and was like, oh right, I don't have Edward Scissorhands on Blu-ray, and I found it for $5 on Amazon. This is a segment of, oh hey, I just remembered that this was a movie I liked. This is a romantic comedy that has a contrasting dark and light sort of world to it. Kind of crazy, haunty stuff. Johnny Depp, Winona Ryder. You're gonna get haunty crazy. This is the 20th Century Studios release. This would be a re-release after Disney purchased Fox. But it's the same disc as everything before. It's got 2 commentary tracks. It's got a featurette. Not that exciting, but hey, it's the movie. It looks good. I think it's a fine release. Of course, we could always do better in terms of a lot of these movies, but for what it is, I think this release is fine for what is kind of a classic movie. All right, switching to modern. Here is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I mentioned the Steelbook being lame. I liked this cover more, so I went with this. This is the 4K release of the film. I liked this one quite a bit. I know some people did not, and I think that's fine because it's a Sam Raimi, sort of film. So he's got that horror comedy vibe going on. I do find it funny that Disney keeps doing their discs in blue and then their 4Ks get a picture. But yeah, the funniest part about this release, I think, because I really did enjoy this movie. I think for a lot of reasons, I think it didn't work for people because Sam Raimi kind of walked in and was like, screw your cinematic universe, I'm just going to make a weird movie. And he did. And I liked it. But that's not going to work for everybody. So coming along here, why is there a Disney Plus ad included? Like, who the hell is buying a 4K Blu-ray release of a Disney movie and doesn't already know what Disney Plus is? Either they have it, or they already know about it and they don't have it because they don't want it. 4K is not the highest selling format. It is like, it's literally, DVD outsells Blu-ray and Blu-ray outsells 4K. So who at Disney was like, oh yeah, let's make sure we have a Disney Plus ad inside the 4K Blu-ray of Doctor Strange? Like, it's not the hardcore people going after the 4K that would already know that Disney Plus exists. Whether they have it or not, they already know exists if they have this movie on 4K. So anyways, that's Disney market research for you. Still thinking, hey, if you want to release the Disney Plus shows like Mandalorian or like WandaVision on Blu-ray, the best way to do it would be through Disney Movie Club, because then it quote-unquote won't be impacting your subscriber count. God, I hope they change that. I would love to have some of these things on disc. But, Disney's always struggled putting out TV shows on disc before. This video became a lot more ranty than I thought. Anyways, let's talk about Morbius. All right, so I can't wait for all the comments on this one. Yes, I bought Morbius. Yes, it was on sale. Yes, I didn't hate it. This is... how do I put this? Sony marketed this movie as like the greatest thing since sliced bread, or the greatest Marvel film to date. Like, this tagline amuses me. A new Marvel legend arrives. Someone at Sony looked at the Marvel Legends toy line and thought that was like a title of endearment, not just a name that we slap toys into. Anyways, Morbius, a film that was released to pretty much, what was it? It bombed twice because they released it. It bombed. Twitter made fun of it, and then it bombed a second time because they thought there was interest in it. This one has, pretty much like your standard Sony stuff of really poor world building with other films. It's trying to take what is distinctively a Spider-Man villain and make him the hero of the story. Once you get past that, it's actually not a half-bad vampire movie. Really, it actually is like a not half-bad vampire movie. Is it a good Morbius film to stand alongside the MCU, Marvel films? Is it really competing there? No, not really, and they shouldn't have marketed it that hard. It is just a not half-bad vampire movie. I think there's a lot of great elements in it. I think the worst parts about it is when they try to connect it to a greater Spider-Man universe. But honestly, like, watching the film, I was like, oh, that wasn't terrible. That was actually... fairly well executed on a lot of ideas, and then when they try to connect it to an all expanded universe, that's when it all fell apart. Which is pretty much Sony's Spider-Man universe in general. But that's not all for movies this month. So Amazon Prime Day had some good sales in terms of 2 4K sets I'd been looking at, and I was like, I have these on Blu-ray, and I don't know if I want to spend full price to upgrade them, because they are older films. But in this case, totally worth it. So we first have the Alfred Hitchcock's classic collection containing Rear Window, Vertigo, Psycho, and the Birds, or Rear Window, Vertigo, Psycho, and the Birds. These are 4 thriller films that Hitchcock did. Love the packaging on this. So first of all, it's like, oh, hey, you got, a set of 4 movies. Look at this, look at this, look at this right here. You pull out the Hitchcock shadow, and there's Hitchcock himself. It's so cool. I love stuff like this. They are in a book style packaging. I think the book style packaging is pretty good. I enjoy playing the audience like a piano is a classic Hitchcock quote. But you see, you get each movie, you get their original poster, a quote from the film, and a list of bonus features. And let me get this digital code out of the way. You've got on one side the Blu-ray, and on the other side the 4K. So you can see it does say that up top. It's actually pretty well made. It's pretty sturdy, so that actually getting the discs out is not hard. Here's Vertigo, same deal, 4K Blu-ray. The Blu-rays I think are just, they're single releases again, but then the 4Ks are new. And then I also think they single released all these. Here's Psycho. Psycho contains the uncut version, which was not the one seen in theaters because of good old restrictions back before there was ratings. And then here's The Birds, where The Birds Blu-ray is getting kind of lost in the... These aren't perfect style packaging, but I do like them. And then you got, there's Hitchcock at the end. So yeah, pretty cool. Comes with a digital code, that sort of thing. It's a good set. There's a second set that's more of a Hitchcock's comedies, I think, that I do want to pick up next time there's a sale. And then one of my things that I absolutely love, Universal Classic Monsters. Here's the Icons of Horror collection featuring Dracula, Frankenstein, Invisible Man, and Wolfman. There is a second set coming out which contains Bride of Frankenstein, Creature of the Black Lagoon, Phantom of the Opera, and The Mummy. And that's coming out later, and I'll definitely pick that up. Same sort of packaging as the Hitchcock set, which I like. So see, you got Dracula and Frankenstein. So again, Dracula there. This is the same release before, so it's got the Spanish version, all the bonus features, and then it's got the film in 4K. And I thought, okay, these are, movies that are close to 100 years old. How good is the 4K transfer going to upgrade it? I was actually pretty impressed. It made a lot of the darker scenes a lot crisper and, have more depth of detail, even on a black and white film. So, pretty great presentation. Same with the Hitchcock films. They look fantastic, too. I think they really did a good job with these. But there's Frankenstein. We got the Invisible Man. And, of course, the Wolfman, one of my personal favorites. And then on the back, Invisible Man and Wolfman. So when it comes down to it, I think that these sets are cool, and I like being able to upgrade in sets of 4, because I think these make, nice shelf companions in general. I think that's pretty great. And there's one last set from Universal that we're going to take a look at to round out the video. So Jurassic World, the Ultimate Collection, is actually a pretty great set. This was released, of course, because Jurassic World Dominion, the quote-unquote final Jurassic film. I always put quote-unquote because I've heard final film and things before and it not actually mean anything. Here is the little, I don't want to call it an obi, that's a Japanese term, but you got a little cardboard sleeve here. So this set contains all 6 of the Jurassic films, which is the first 3 Jurassic Park films and the 3 Jurassic World films in a nice cardboard case. This is a similar packaging style to the Hitchcock and Universal sets we just looked at, except it's a little bit weaker. And I mean physically. Like, this isn't as sturdy of a sleeve as the Hitchcock or the Universal sets, and it's a bit thicker because it has more movies, so, you just kind of have to go with it. But here we go. So Jurassic World Ultimate Collection. So, of course, we have a shot of Jurassic Park's Visitor Center there. This one doesn't have a marker of where the Blu-ray and 4K should be, and they were kind of random in here, so I just sort of put Blu-ray here and 4K here. I don't know why. But you can see each of these has, short description, the poster with the logo, because it's the poster style they use on all of them, and the bonus features. The Blu-ray discs for Jurassic Park are the same as the Blu-ray discs from the Jurassic Park Ultimate Trilogy, which this is a cool little set. This is the first time they released the movies on Blu-ray. This is pre-Jurassic World even. Look, you had to get your digital copy on iTunes. Yeah, that was it. They didn't have any other options at the time. But this set here was just straight Blu-ray, so you can see that the disc, even down to the label, is the same. And that's fine, because I think those Blu-ray transfers were pretty good. Now, of course, I never upgraded to the 4K. I only did the Blu-rays on Jurassic Park, so that actually kind of worked out for me that this set existed. And that's kind of the reason why I did it, was because, well, if I can upgrade the Jurassic Park movies at least to 4K, that's a good upgrade. And then also just having everything in one set is much more convenient. Here's Lost World. This is a movie I had completely forgotten, 100% forgot everything that happened in this movie. Wasn't even sure the last time I watched it until this past weekend. Yeah, no, this is the follow-up. It was definitely trying new things. I don't know if it totally succeeded in all of those, but I liked actually a lot of sequences in this one. Jurassic Park 3, which gets a bad rap, but honestly isn't that bad of a movie. It's just, you know, the problem with Jurassic Park is the same problem as with Indiana Jones. The first one is so good and an absolute masterpiece that they try to repeat success and don't quite get there. It doesn't, nothing's ever going to top the first Jurassic Park, and the movies that don't try to are the best ones. So there's Jurassic Park 3. Here we got Jurassic World. Again, not trying to top the original. It's more so just trying to play on the same ideas but amplify them. Also, the discs are a lot tighter on this release than the Hedgehog and Universal sets. And then we've got Fallen Kingdom, which I thought was 3 movies in one. Probably need to rewatch this one and see if I enjoy it more the second time around. Because when I watched it the first time, I'm like, oh wow, there are 3 distinctive plots in this film. Always a little jarring. And then Dominion, which I actually really, really enjoyed. I saw it in theaters. It's got the extended cut. This is the sad part, is that there's only, like, it says this here, Dinosaurs Among Us Inside Jurassic World Dominion. It sounds like it's just one featurette. It's actually a long one. It's like 45 minutes. So it's actually pretty good. But it's got an extended version, which I haven't seen yet. I'm kind of working my way through the movies. But, you know, I really think that, you know, this movie was a good conclusion, because even though it was kind of off the walls, kind of nutty, and took a different direction, the ending of Fallen Kingdom didn't leave them with many options, and I think bringing back Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, and Sam Neill, because as a trio, they work so well together where they don't work as well individually, it was genius, because I think that just brought an air of fun to the film that just really made it enjoyable. I really enjoyed seeing this in theaters, so I look forward to seeing it again. And I do mean, you know, it's kind of funny, I just noticed this. They, in the old days, we used to list Jeff Goldblum and Sam Neill before Laura Dern, because Hollywood. Because Laura Dern's an Oscar winner now, she gets top billing. Good for Laura Dern. She's great. But anyways, yeah, I do like this, and yeah, pretty good set. You can see the Jurassic World Visitor Center, which was more built up as a theme park. Cool stuff. So yeah, it's a good set, and I think it's a good way to have all 6 movies together, which, if you've been following this channel enough, you know that I love having movies and box sets. I love movie box sets. So that does it for this Blu-ray haul. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe notification bell for future videos on Blu-rays and DVDs. There's definitely plenty in the works. And like I said, there should be several in September. Also be sure to leave a comment down below and tell me what was your favorite release that I picked up this month, or tell me one that I missed, or I don't know, one of those things. Also be sure to check out Hobby Link Japan if you're looking for goods out of Japan. Use link in the description below to help support the channel. Check out Hero Club at hero-club.com for news and more, and my awesome graphic designer on Twitter at darkclaw643. And until next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.